once again.
Yeah, good morning.
Quick intro before I go straight into the matter of our online visibility. Tell us a bit about yourself, where you grew up, school you went to, and how you became what you are today.
Okay, so my name is Justice Okai-Allotey, like you mentioned. Yeah. I schooled from Lamtemo through to St. Paul's Secondary School, to the University of Ghana. I studied psychology, but currently I work in the digital sector where I'm the program manager for Wikimedia Ghana. For Wikimedia.
How did is this what you dreamt of becoming?
Yes and no. I think growing up I wanted to be in the military. Going into the SHS, I think I shifted to being maybe a creative. And then along the way I found digital very interesting, and that's how I've been in the digital sector.
So what was your Damascus moment with digital?
I think 2015 after national service, where I happened to work at Impact Hub Accra after a 5-week program. So we were trained on various sectors in tech, and so after that I started volunteering for numerous organizations, and Wikimedia Ghana User Group happened to be one of them. And then so far we've come happen to be a program manager now and leading efforts to make Ghanaian content very visible online. Fantastic.
Okay, so what does it mean to be the Ghana program manager for the Wikimedia Group? What does it entail?
So Wikimedia Ghana User Group is a non-profit organization. We are affiliated to the Wikimedia Foundation in San Francisco. Even though we are affiliated with them, we are a bit autonomous, so we take our own decisions on programs that we run and all that. And so basically we are more concerned about Ghanaian content and how we can improve Ghanaian content on Wikipedia. It would interest you to note that currently there are about 70 active Ghanaian Wikipedians on Wikipedia.
70 active?
Yeah. Okay. So for a population like Ghana, which is above 30 million, 70 is woefully inadequate. And that is why we constantly create programs where we invite people to train them and then get them to contribute to Wikimedia.
So aside Wikipedia, what other platforms are there?
So there's Wikimedia Commons, there's Wikisource, there's Wikiversity, there's MediaWiki, which is like the tech sector of it's all open source platforms where you don't have to pay anybody to use it. It's free for all. And you will notice that on Wikipedia, ads don't run on there. So we make sure that it's free from ads and free from all blockings that would affect it. So basically everything that we do on there is free and open source.
So as program manager, what are you responsible for?
So basically I'm responsible for content creation, especially within our community and our partners. So we basically have run numerous content creation drives in Ghana, from Takrade edits Wikipedia to Accra edits Wikipedia to Koforidua edits Wikipedia to Kumasi edits Wikipedia to Ho edits Wikipedia and to Damba. We had plans of extending to other regions as well. So basically we also have partnered a few organizations to bring Wikipedia education to them, and also to get them to get more active and edit Wikipedia, because we believe that we can tell our story ourselves, and so the more we tell our stories, the more it increases visibility around Ghana.
Wonderful. And how do you decide? I've always wondered, how do you decide if a place, person, or event is worth an entry on Wikipedia?
So there's a notability criteria for Wikipedia. First of all, the person or the place that you're writing on should be notable. So in the English Wikipedia sense, being notable means when the person has significant coverage online. So once you Google the person, you should be able to find enough material about the person from third-party sources, I must say. So news websites, books, magazines that are very independent of the subject that you are writing on.
Okay. And how can people get involved in the work you do?
So basically, we run now online and offline events. So, and they can follow us on social media. We are very active on all the platforms. So Wikimedia Ghana on Twitter, Wikimedia Ghana on Instagram, Wikimedia Ghana User Group, Facebook and LinkedIn. Anytime they should reach us if they need any partnership or they need us to check something, just email us and then we'll check it for you.
Okay. Now, over the years, have you seen content on Ghana increase on Wikipedia and other platforms?
Yes. There's been significant increase in Ghanaian content.
Okay.
But the sad part of that is majority of those content are not written by Ghanaians. And so even though there are a lot more Ghanaians now editing, they are not active as compared to our folks in the global north. And so we encourage people to edit, but then again, they have to be consistently active. So like I checked this morning, there are 70 active editors, which means that in the last week or so, only 70 people have made between 5 to 100 edits in Ghana on Wikipedia. Okay. So even though there are more people getting involved, the consistency with which we want them to edit is not there. It's not there. So this is an opportunity for us to call for more people to join. It's absolutely free to edit Wikipedia. You don't have to pay somebody to put you on Wikipedia. We've consistently received reports where people pay people to write, and because they don't follow the rules and regulations, it happens that their edits are deleted. And so we always make it a point to tell them that they shouldn't pay anybody to be put on there.
Okay, because who is usually responsible for ensuring that the information on Wikipedia is accurate?
So Wikipedia usually is edited by volunteers across the world.
Okay.
So in Ghana like this, if I see a Ghanaian article that I think there's a problem with it, I'll fix it. That's one of the roles as a Wikipedian and as an editor. So there are consistently a number of people checking every article and every edit somebody does. Okay. You might think, this is about 5 billion articles, and so who will have the time? But over the time, people do check. It might take a while, but there is somebody who would go and check the edits that you've made to make sure that it meets the Wikipedia standard. Okay.
And based on that, can Wikipedia be seen as a reference source for research?
Well, we try to stay away from that because Wikipedia is peer reviewed. Okay. And it's not even though we encourage educational institutions to partner us and use our material as a training course, it helps students to learn research skills. Even though we say because of the nature of Wikipedia, we can't put original research on Wikipedia. You only have to put verified information that you can source. So yes, you can't use it as a source, but you can actually go read, and then you see citations and beneath every article that you can rather use for your research.
Okay, makes sense. In case you're joining us, you're listening to Morning Star Live on Star 103.5 FM. This morning, we're talking about how we can increase Ghana's online visibility. My guest this morning is Justice Okai-Allotey, Program Manager for Wikimedia Ghana User Group. Okay, so what has your experience of moderating content been like?
So for me, because I know the challenges with getting content from Ghana, I sometimes empathize with new editors when they try to make it. So when I see a new editor has made an edit, I try as much as possible to go through and then correct if there are mistakes. But usually they don't get lucky because of the number of editors, some from the global north, we don't have our context, and also because we don't write a lot, and so
generally in Ghana,
yes, finding independent sources on some of the subjects is extremely difficult. Wow. So then it becomes a challenge trying to defend some of the edits. Even though you might think that the person or the thing is very notable, because there are little sources to find, it becomes a challenge trying to moderate that. And so we always encourage news agencies, journalists to consistently churn out some of these materials, because without this material, it's going to be difficult
to source and
for
reference.
us to source and reference them.
Wow, interesting. You say we don't write enough?
Yeah,
we don't.
Yeah, because
what is right enough? Let me just understand that.
So 3 months ago, we were running a wiki poetry event where we were trying to put Ghanaian poetry on Wikipedia. It would interest you to know that we were able to actually write on one poet where we could find enough material on the person.
Wow.
Even though the older ones seem to have written a lot. So
the young ones don't.
Yes, the young ones, it's difficult to actually find material on them. And so this is an example of not writing enough and why we actually encourage people to write,
Justice, let me reason with you for a second. Is it that young people don't write enough today because maybe they don't like to read enough?
Well,
because to write, you need to have quite an expansive vocabulary.
Yes.
To draw from,
Yes and no, in the sense that, so one thing we've noticed also is the focus of the media on some of these things is usually very slim.
Okay.
And so if the people involved are not actively trying to get their stuff online, then it means nobody is going to write about them. And so that also is a challenge with regards to why enough content on Wikipedia is not. So, for example, in the psych sector, female scientists in Ghana, there's a lot of knowledge gap with regards to putting them on Wikipedia. So it's even a global phenomenon across the world where there are less female scientists on Wikipedia, even though there are a lot of them around. Because there are less material on them, we find it difficult trying to put them on. So this is also one of the challenges that we face when we are trying to speak on and create content around that.
Okay, so a few off-the-cuff questions. If you want to find out about what's been written about you on Wikipedia, first of all, does content about somebody need extra permission from that person before it's posted?
No.
Doesn't?
No.
So as I said here, somebody can look at me for the past 3 to 6 months and write about me and put on Wikipedia.
Yes. So far as they can source everything that you put on there. So I just searched you, Francis Abban. It was written 2019, I think May 29th. And so far 11 editors have worked on your page. It's received 34 page views, and the one who created it is user Atavi. And so, like I said, I don't think he contacted you before writing. He found the resources online and then
wrote his own stuff.
Wrote his own stuff. Yeah.
So when you see something like that, do you have the power to edit it?
Yes, but the person himself, you can't edit your own article. It's against the rules and regulations. It's called conflict of interest, and I can't write about somebody I'm in personal relationship with. I can't write about a company I'm involved with. So I can only write about people that I know have enough resources, are significant online resources that I can find. But a lot of the time, because the Ghanaian editing space is small, we get a lot of requests from musicians, from politicians, from journalists about putting them on Wikipedia. Some of them, there's a misconception about what Wikipedia is, and so because they feel that Wikipedia is a source for me to get verified on maybe a social media platform, I want to be on there. But Wikipedia, it's an online encyclopedia, and it's to educate people that read on there. And so once I go on your article, I should be able to know who the person is, what they've done, something significant they've done in the past few years or days. And then that's how it's supposed to be. But because the notion of which people want to be on Wikipedia usually is because they want to get verified or something, and because those social media sites trust the information from Wikipedia, it becomes a challenge. And so you consistently get people even though they don't even meet the criteria, wanting to influence people to be on there, and then it creates a problem. And then you notice that recently there's been a wide IP block on Wikipedia from Africa, because of vandalism. So in Wikipedia circles, vandalism means actually writing information that is not verified. And so the more the information is put on there, the more editors find that no, this IP range is what causing those problems. So they put a blanket block on there, and now it affects genuine editors who are actually writing on there.
So Ghana is part of that?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, so we as a user group, we always writing to, there's an IP sector of Wikipedia where we try to get block exempt for our members.
Wow.
Yeah.
I see. Okay. Now, aside from the benefits of seeing content about one's country freely available online, what other perks are there for some actively involved in the Wikimedia group?
So I think one of you get to build yourself personally as a person. You get to also be part of a global community of Wikimedia. And so in Africa, there's Wiki Indaba, which is a yearly conference that happens, and then you get to be part of them because of your contribution. And so if you don't contribute enough, you are not part of any community, you cannot be part of that. And sometimes you get fully funded by the Wikipedia Foundation to attend some of this conference. There's Wikimania, which is like a big conference for all Wikimedia, and the active editing you do and your contributions. This is actually what qualify you to be part of Wikimania, to receive a full scholarship to attend some of these conferences. So aside you actually putting Ghanaian content on there, you also get an opportunity to make a global movement where you can also influence some of the policies. And as an African Wikimedia, we always look out for Africans and some of the things that we do. So I'm part of the communications committee of the Wikimedia Foundation. We usually meet once every month to discuss communications issues we face. And so I consistently make the case for African Wikimedians to actually get help, and then because of our peculiar circumstances, we have less editors and we have very stringent measures, and also with regards to copyright and also some of the information that we get. So it's always a difficult situation for us. Okay,
interesting. So as an individual or a group, what targets do you have going to 2022 as far as content is concerned?
So currently we have run about 21 programs in total, where we've had about 222 editors, and our article views over the period from January to now has been 6.21 million views, and we've been able to edit about 640 articles. And so we want to do more, but then again, it's because it's volunteer. We need a lot of people to be able to make it possible.
Okay. And in needing a lot of people to make it possible, where do we get these people?
So we usually partner schools, innovation hubs, any organization that has volunteers that would be interested. So environmental organizations, human rights bodies, and so there's a myriad of opportunities with regards to Wikipedia and the form of content that we can put on there. And so we are always open to meet, partnering with various organizations that we have an aligned goal together, and then we'll work together and make it happen.
Wow. Okay. So during your time, and you understand that you've been working with Wikimedia, how long has it been then?
So I started volunteering actively 2015.
So that's 6 years.
Yes. 6
years with them. What's your greatest accomplishment in terms of content upload?
Well, I would say getting an opportunity to actually attend 2 Wikimanians has been one of my greatest accomplishments.
Okay, 2.
Yeah.
2. All right. For someone listening this morning who's saying, I want to be like Justice, what do you say to them?
Well, there's always an opportunity for you in the movement. Come join us. What we need is dedication, and if you have a very specific field that you want to write on, you are always welcome. And so for me, I like to write about women. I like to write about musicians and artists and also politicians. So those are like the core things. Even though I can write on several stuff, I like to write about them. And one thing that I've also noticed is there's lack of, so aside you can find enough information on politicians, but certain vital like events. So I wrote about the Atomic Junction fire, and today I've been struggling to find enough sources to actually improve it. Because you compare that to the Notre Dame fire, and you notice that there's a lot of material that has been written on there. And so it boils down to the point I was making earlier, that we should be able to write more so that we as Wikimedians and everybody in the Wikimedia movement can also find those materials and then use it to improve.
Okay, so if I understand you correctly, yes, there are many websites, portals, churning content. But in terms of content quality, content variety to populate, it's difficult.
Yes, so blogs are not allowed on Wikipedia. We work with recognized news organizations. So Starr FM, Starr FM Online. We source a lot of material from there. Across Ghana, a lot of the recognized Ghanaian media organizations. And if they have online portals, we source materials from them. And so those are like the few, there are about 7 or 8 of them. And so if we can't find information on them, and maybe we find, maybe say the BBC or other foreign organizations has written, we get to source as well. And also because some of our books is difficult to find them online, and there's no easy access to those books, it becomes difficult for us to actually source some information that can be found in books, and sometimes to the copyrights of the books. Also, it's a bar for us to source them.
Okay, interesting. As we end our conversation this morning, what's your advice to? And one more thing. I get people, send me a message and say, Francis, I do all writing. I want to write for portals. Is it that you also do recruiting in that respect as well?
Yes, because for us, because we have a set of regulations that we follow. If you're a good writer, you always invite.
Who's a good writer?
For us, we have a set of rules. So we write from a neutral point of view. Anything that we write has to be sourced to an independent article. And so with that context, if you come and you follow those laid down procedures, there's a neutral point of view guideline for everybody that wants to use it. And so for us, it's pretty easy. If you can actually write, it's easy for you to be part of the Wikimedia movement. Because we've made it a point to break down everything that would make it easy for people to actually write. So
and is it an employ or it's voluntary?
It's purely volunteer.
Okay. All right. Justice, I want to say thank you to you. Any final words to us this morning?
So anybody interested in joining, there are about 3 more Ghanaian Wikimedia communities, and you can join any of them. You can also reach our website, www.wmgh.org. We are across all social media platforms, Wikimedia Ghana User Group. Reach us or send us an email, programs@wmgh.org, and we're always available to answer any plea or questions that you may have.
Wonderful. Justice, I want to say thank you for your time this morning.
Thank you.
And for joining us. Justice Okai-Allotey, Program Manager for Wikimedia Ghana User Group. We talked about how we increase Ghana's online visibility. And quite a very poignant point you make about writing and the variety in content that we need to churn out as a country. Wow. People write more about Ghana outside than what we do ourselves. So it means we don't control what we say about ourselves. We don't.
No.
Wow. That's painful.
Very.
That's very painful. Okay, thank you for your time this morning. Thank you.